So hey guys, this is just an update video. I'm going to do a series of them on my collection of bikes currently. So this is an update video on my 2006 Cannondale F4000sl. I bought this bike, I think it was in 2007, spring 2007, so it was basically a clear out of 2006, so I got it for what I thought was a pretty reasonable price. So it was the top of the line hardtail Cannondale made in 2006. It was actually the last year that their top end bikes were aluminum. The year after this, they switched to carbon fiber. Complete, you were looking at a 21-pound hardtail race bike. You know, in 2006, that's still light in 2014, 21 pounds. This was an Olympic caliber, World Cup caliber race bike. You could race this thing at the highest level without upgrading a single part on it. Everything was top of the line for the time. So yeah, I used it as a mountain bike, and now it's kind of been designed. I've kind of set it up more as an urban assault bike. So yeah, I've had to replace some parts. What have I replaced on this? Yeah, I think the only thing I've actually replaced on this is cassettes and chains. So right now I've got a road cassette on it. I think it's a 1228. And, you know, with top of the line parts, replacing them with the same quality of stuff, I mean, the stuff is super expensive, so it's not a top of the line cassette on there. I think it's like a Shimano 105 or maybe an Ultegra. But, you know, the bike's held up pretty well. The only issue I've had is with the rear wheel. So if you notice, the rear wheel and front wheel aren't the same. So this is the original rim that this bike came with, and there was obviously the same rim on the rear, but the rear version, and it ended up developing a crack here at the base of one of the spokes, and I mean, it's well beyond warranty. And I was kind of in a conundrum because, I mean, like I said, these are top of the line parts. It's a top of the line wheel set. To replace the rear wheel on its own with the same quality of wheel, I mean, we're talking about $1,000 rear wheel on its own. So basically what we did was we ordered a new rim. They still had some laying around, but we had to replace the spokes. So the rim itself was a couple $100. These spokes are proprietary because they're proprietary for the hub and for the nipples. These spokes were $14 each. So to replace that rear wheel with basically a new rim, new spokes, and I used my old hub, it was around $500 to repair that wheel. And within 2 years, that rear wheel, same thing happened. It cracked here at the base. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? I paid $500. I barely got 2 years of life out of it. But I'm in the same situation. I want to replace it with something of similar quality. But these wheels to buy on their own are outrageously expensive, especially in Canada. And basically, because this is an older wheel, you can no longer get this rim from Mavic. So my local bike shop, they basically talked to the guys at Mavic Canada, and they managed to find stuff laying around. They managed to dig out this rim. So it's a newer version, so Mavic Crossmax SLR. And we got some, he had to order some new spokes. I haven't even asked him how much this is going to cost. I picked it up today and I said, yeah, I'm going to take it for a test ride. I'm still, looking at a $200 rim, a bunch of $14 or more spokes. So it's going to cost me multiple $100s for this repair. But I want to keep this bike going because it's a freaking awesome bike. So I think all the silver spokes are the original spokes that I had from the last wheel build, and then he had to order some new black spokes as well as this red spoke here. So actually I think it looks really cool with so on one side they're black, on this side they're silver, except for the one red one here. Yeah, so I managed to get a similar quality rear wheel, so the weight of the bike should stay about the same. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if the rim is lighter because it's a newer version. But another thing that's happening with this bike is I am getting a pair of 650B wheels built up for it. So I'm just curious, because it's going to be more of an urban bike, and now that I have a 29er, and you know, the physics of wheel size. Yes, the 29er wheel is faster, it rolls faster. So I'm curious about trying a 650B, getting a little bit extra outer diameter. It should give me an extra K or two an hour of cruising speed. But it'll be cool too because I'll have a 650B wheel set and I'll have this 26, so I can jump between the two and compare. So the 650B wheel set that I have being built up, they're DT Swiss. I think it's the 240 rims. So the DT Swiss makes a Cannondale Lefty compatible hub. And then obviously the same hub in the rear. Their Stans rims, I forget the exact model. I wanted a wheel set that was reasonably light and reasonably strong. I don't want a wheel set that I'm going to potentially have problems with, because, you know, wheel sets like this, which are pushing the limits of weight and durability, yeah, I don't want to have the same kind of problems I've had with these wheels, because they're expensive as frickin' hell, particularly in a small market like Canada. So yeah, just an update about this bike. I'm trying to extend the life of it because it's a frickin' awesome bike. The fork is holding up well, the frame's holding up well, all the components are holding up well. Just had some problems with the rear wheels. So expect a video soon with this bike with the 650B wheels. And I'm curious and excited to kind of compare between the two, between a 26 and a 650B. I got him, my dealer, to order some. I said I want a pair of lightweight slicks about the same fatness of this. Right now, the availability of 650B mountain bike slicks is pretty limited, especially in Canada. You should see an explosion of availability in 650B tires next year, because there's a bunch of bike manufacturers, especially Giant with their full suspension bikes, have really gone on hardcore on the 27.5 650B, so there should be way more tire choices coming out. So he managed to find some Schwalbes in a 1.65 marathons. So it'll be similar fatness to these, but a slightly larger outer diameter. So give me a better cruising speed, smoother ride, because you're going to have a better rollover over cracks and bumps and that sort of thing. So expect the video coming in the near future showing you my new wheel set. But yeah, here is a new rear wheel. Again, it's going to cost me a small fortune, but I want to keep this bike going, so to me it was worth getting a wheel rebuilt for it. Thanks for watching.